Absolutely. Here's a 500-word story titled, "The Cleaning Routine That Actually Works and Will Change How You Clean Forever." Jenna had always struggled with keeping her home clean. It wasn't that she was messy, she just felt overwhelmed. Every weekend turned into an exhausting whirlwind of vacuuming, dusting, scrubbing, and folding, only for the mess to creep back by Wednesday. She tried every checklist, every app, every trendy cleaning hack on social media. Nothing stuck. One afternoon, while doom scrolling between laundry loads, she stumbled upon a post titled, "The Cleaning Routine That Actually Works." Skeptical but desperate, she clicked. It wasn't a miracle hack. It wasn't a 5-hour deep clean. It was a system called the Daily Flow Method, created by a professional cleaner who swore that consistency, not intensity, was the secret. The idea was simple. Clean one zone a day for 20 to 30 minutes max. Monday, bathrooms. Tuesday, floors. Wednesday, kitchen. Thursday, bedrooms. Friday, living spaces. Saturday, catch up or declutter. Sunday, rest. Daily tasks like dishes, wiping counters, and a quick 10-minute reset were the only constants. Jenna decided to give it a try. The first week felt awkward. She kept wanting to do everything at once, but forced herself to stay within the limits. No more cleaning the entire bathroom top to bottom on a random Tuesday, just the zone for the day, and done. By week 2, something strange happened. Her house didn't look spotless, but it looked lived-in clean. You know, the kind of clean that feels real and maintained, not staged. The bathroom stayed fresher because it got attention weekly. The kitchen felt under control because the daily wipe downs stopped the mess from building. But what really shocked her was how the mental fog lifted. Jenna realized cleaning had always felt like a punishment, a chore she had to survive. But now, with this system, it became part of her rhythm. She'd listen to a podcast while wiping mirrors or play her favorite playlist during her 20-minute vacuum sprint. It was still effort, but it felt lighter. A month in, Jenna was hooked. Her weekends were no longer hijacked by 3-hour marathons. She had time for hobbies, brunch with friends, or a nap without the guilt of an unvacuumed floor. Even her partner noticed. "The place feels better," he said one Friday. "I don't know why. It just does." The reason was simple. Consistency builds peace. Jenna had finally found a routine that wasn't about being perfect. It was about being present. She wasn't trying to make her home sparkle like a magazine cover. She was building habits that made the mess manageable. 6 months later, she shared the routine with friends who marveled at how simple and sustainable it was. "Why didn't anyone teach us this growing up?" one friend asked. Jenna laughed. "I think we all thought cleaning had to be painful to work." But now, she knew better. Would you like to turn a short part of this story into a voiceover sample? Certainly. Here's a 500-word paragraph that continues Jenna's journey and shows how the cleaning routine started to impact other areas of her life. The longer Jenna followed the daily flow method, the more it rippled into the rest of her life. At first, it was just about the house, maintaining a clean bathroom, keeping up with laundry, and finally figuring out a system for the junk drawer that always seemed to explode. But soon, she noticed her mornings felt calmer. She wasn't rushing around searching for clean socks or trying to remember if the dishwasher had been run. Her evenings became more relaxing because the visual noise of clutter was gone. With less chaos in her space, her brain felt quieter too. Cleaning had once been something she avoided. Now it became part of her self-care. And as her mindset shifted, so did her schedule. She started waking up just a bit earlier, drinking coffee in a clean kitchen, lighting a candle without thinking, ugh, I should wipe the counters first. Even her relationships improved. Instead of snapping at her partner for leaving socks in the hallway, she calmly folded them during her Thursday bedroom reset. The stress and resentment that used to bubble up over chores began to fade because there was finally a shared system in place, and it worked. One day, she opened her calendar and realized she hadn't done a weekend deep clean in over 3 months, and the house looked great. Sure, it wasn't perfect. There were smudges on the windows, and the guest room still held a couple of boxes from their last move. But things weren't spiraling anymore. They were steady, predictable, manageable. Jenna even started a small Sunday ritual, reviewing the upcoming week, lighting a fresh-scented wax melt, and planning a new small space to organize each month. These tiny routines gave her a feeling of control that went beyond the vacuum lines on the carpet. They gave her a sense of ownership over her life. Friends began to notice the shift in her, not just in the house, but in her energy. "You seem more grounded lately," one friend observed over lunch. "What's your secret?" Jenna laughed. "It's going to sound silly, but cleaning. Just not the way we've always done it. Not with stress and panic and sacrificing Saturdays. It's this small, steady rhythm that makes everything else easier." Encouraged, she created a simple printable with her routine and started sharing it with friends. It wasn't fancy, just a list of zones and daily habits. But it spread fast. People told her they'd finally stopped dreading cleaning. Some even shared that the routine helped with anxiety and burnout. Jenna hadn't set out to start a movement, but in a way, she had. She'd found something that worked. Not because it was revolutionary, but because it was sustainable. And that, she realized, was the real secret. The best routine isn't the one that promises a spotless house in one weekend. It's the one that meets you where you are, fits into your real life, and helps you build a home that feels like a place you want to be. Would you like to turn a quote or short excerpt from this into a voiceover? Absolutely. Here's a 200-word paragraph that brings Jenna's story to a warm and thoughtful close. Jenna never imagined that something as ordinary as cleaning could bring so much clarity to her life. What started as a desperate attempt to get her home under control had evolved into a personal philosophy. Small, consistent actions that created long-term peace. She didn't have to wait for motivation anymore. The routine was automatic, almost like muscle memory. On tough days, she found comfort in the rhythm, the familiar motion of folding towels, the hum of the vacuum, the quiet satisfaction of crossing off bathroom on Monday nights. It gave her something solid to hold on to when everything else felt uncertain. Her home, once a source of stress, had become a sanctuary, imperfect but cared for. She didn't strive for spotless. She aimed for settled. And in that space, she discovered more time, more joy, and more room to live. When people asked her how she managed it all, she always smiled and said, "It's not about cleaning more. It's about cleaning smarter. Just a little each day. That's it." And the beauty was, it really was that simple. One change, one shift in approach, and everything, her space, her mindset, her time, began to fall into place. Would you like a voiceover sample of this final paragraph?